What's up everyone, my name is Deltlead and today I'm going to be walking you through the Scout class loadout. Now the Scout loadout is a lightweight, highly mobile and hard-hitting loadout best used for flanking, sneaking past, or sabotaging major enemy objectives. In this video I'm going to break down the loadout itself and how to use this loadout in the field to best support your team or to best operate on a solo Helldive. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So as far as the loadout goes, for armor, you need to bring any light armor that has the Scout passive. So this is the Trailblazer or the Infiltrator armors. These give you a increase to your map radar, allowing you to detect enemies farther out, and it gives you a 30% reduction in your detectability. So you can be 30% closer to a unit before it spots you and starts attacking you. For your primary weapon, I always recommend the Counter Sniper. I think it is an excellent long-range option that allows you to pick off a couple key units prior to getting closer without being detected by the other units around it. For the sidearm, I would go with either the P4 Senator or the Grenade Pistol. Either one provides some flexibility, but for this build, I'm using the P4 Senator. In the event that I got to get up close and personal with enemies, I've got a hard hitting and reliable sidearm that I can switch to, especially for taking out things like Scout Striders and Devastators. For grenades, I'm using the Smoke Grenade in case I need to break off contact with the enemy or to provide cover to myself or to my teammates. Now, these Smoke Grenades break the line of sight to the enemy, effectively acting like walls that they can't see through. This is very useful if you're trying to escape and get away from a large number of enemies, because if you can go for a few minutes without being seen by them, they will break off their pursuit of you. So using these smoke grenades is a great way to control engagements with the enemy, or to just give yourself some cover so you can get a little closer. Now, as for stratagems go, you can bring pretty much whatever red stratagems you want based on your playstyle, but there are two things the Scout absolutely needs to be successful: the Quasar Cannon and the Jump Pack. Now, the Quasar Cannon provides you a long-range anti-tank weapon that's capable of taking down any automaton factory from any angle. So unlike other support weapon stratagems, you don't need to get a shot down the air vents at the top of the factory. You can hit it from any angle. You could have a glancing shot. Doesn't matter. If you touch an automaton factory with a Quasar Cannon, it goes up in flames. This will also one-shot hulks and can take the cannons off factory striders or blow up tower cannons from anywhere on the map if you can get a shot on its weak spot. The Quasar Cannon is excellent for controlling the range to your engagement and picking off the more dangerous units or the more dangerous emplacements before the rest of your squad pushes in. And that's exactly what the Scout build is for. It's the Vanguard. It goes out in front and it takes out a couple high-value units and then falls back and lets the heavy hitters come in and clean up the rest while providing long-range fire support with either its primary or the Quasar Cannon. Now, the Jump Pack is quintessential to the Scout build because you absolutely have to have the most mobility on your team. So that light armor paired with that Jump Pack gives you the ability to cover the map in a very short period of time, but it also lets you get away from large groups of enemy if you start getting overwhelmed. Your light armor is not going to be able to tank it out in a prolonged firefight, especially against a large number of enemies. So if you start feeling overwhelmed, having that Jump Pack ready to boost you out of the way is excellent option. The other thing the Jump Pack allows you to do is get on top of terrain that you would otherwise not be able to get on top of. Having a height advantage with a long-range primary and the Quasar Cannon is unbelievably powerful. Being able to shoot across the map, look out and see enemies coming in from a distance, and be able to scout out objectives in advance is very important. Now, for the red stratagems, again, you can really bring whatever you feel like, but the general idea is you should bring something that can take out small enemies and has a short cooldown, and you should bring something that can take out big enemies and can have a longer cooldown. So I usually go with Strafing Run in the 500 kg, or Gatling Barrage in a 120, or any combination within. The big thing you need to remember when you're picking your stratagems is making sure that all your bases are covered. So I've got heavy hitting firepower for the big stuff, and I've got lightweight, quick cooldown stuff to clear out the chaff. Now let's take a look at how we can employ the Scout loadout in the field and supporting a squad. So if you're deploying with a full team of 4 Helldivers and you're playing as the Scout role, The big thing you need to remember is you should be flanking and moving out in front of the rest of your team. Now, it's pretty typical to want to stick together when playing, but the scout really does strive with his higher mobility in pushing out in front towards the objective or moving around and flanking objectives, flanking outposts, flanking bases, and then starting to provide additional fire to take out those more dangerous units while the squad focuses on drawing the fire from the rest of the team. One great way to employ the scout class is if you're coming up on like a heavy outpost, right? And you've got your team all on one side of the heavy outpost, use your jump pack and cut around to the side. Then once they start shooting and draw the fire of the enemies in the outpost, take your quasar cannon and take out the first Hulk or the largest heavy unit you see going towards your squad. Start taking out those high value units first. Then start working your way down. Pull out your sniper. Start dropping the infantry, clearing the chaff that are coming around. If you see someone that's not being shot at by the rest of your team, go ahead and supply some fire to them. And if no enemies are visible to you, at this point, now would be a great time to go ahead and drop your heavy-hitting stratagems into the middle of the base. Your jump pack and your scout armor are going to let you get a lot closer so you can put something right in the middle of the base, even if the rest of your squad is being pushed back by enemy units. If flanking is not your speed and instead you want to start doing some long-range shooting on the enemy, go ahead and use your jump pack to climb up on top of the tallest geological feature you can find. There's usually something you can climb that will give you a long sight line across the map. So go ahead, get up on top of whatever plateau, cliff you can find, pull out your quasar cannon, and just take a look around, see what you see. Do you see any cannon towers out in the distance that you could start taking shots at to get rid of? Or are there light outposts and factories that you have a clean shot on and you can take out so that your squad doesn't even have to go over there and deal with the small sub-objectives and factories? The quasar cannon lets you secure outposts from anywhere on the map. As long as you can see the automaton fabricators, you can clear the outpost. The other thing you can do is start looking at minor points of interest. Let's say there's a Hulk guiding a minor point of interest. Well, that's going to be annoying to deal with, especially when the rest of your squad comes around, and you don't want them to waste a red stratagem. Again, pull the quasar cannon out, line up your shot, take out the Hulk. You can ignore the smaller enemies and let them clean those up as they get there. But by taking out these big units in advance, you are simplifying the problem for your team so that they can go and finish out, clean up the rest later. Now, for extraction. If you're playing the scout during extraction, I'd recommend doing the same thing as at the beginning of the game, which is get up on top of something and start sniping the heavy units. Let your squad mates with machine guns or chaff clearing primaries take out the small stuff, and you just sit there with your quasar cannon and look for the next Hulk, look for the next rocket strider, look for the next tank. Start putting down shots on those big units that are going to cause your team problems. If you've got stratagems ready, go ahead and throw those out in advance and provide like a barrier between the extraction zone and the incoming enemies. You can also, as the scout, start calling out where the next enemy to focus on is. Since you've got that jump pack and you can get up on top of things, you'll be able to see before the rest of your squad does where they need to focus their fire or throw stratagems. So marking enemies on your map as the scout is very useful in providing intelligence to the rest of your team. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the Scout class in Helldivers 2. If you did, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Helldivers 2 content, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.